Is this a guitarist from U2?
It is. It's a documentary about the Hedge, yes. So this is a very dramatic documentary by Barney Douglas about the England cricket team, 2009 to 2013. Bear in mind, as I'm doing this review, I don't know anything about cricket, okay? So if I get people's names wrongs or whatever, if I get people's names wrongs,
yes.
If I get my English languages wrongs, bear with me, okay? So it is about the England cricket team under Andy Flower as the coach and Andrew Strauss was the captain. And it is a story of the squad basically being pulled together by a coach who has this kind of holistic and rather scary approach to turning them into a team. He says, look, I can make you into a team, but in order to do it, you have to basically give your whole lives to me for 2 years. And it's narrated in entertainingly florid tones by Toby Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hello, Toby.
He says cricket is a duel between time and the mind. I mean, it's very sort of, and at the beginning, it's got this kind of slightly knockabout feel to it. This group of people who are sort of, they're all doing their own thing, and then somebody else comes in, and they all think he's scary, and they all think he's a bit weird, and then there's a point in the narration when you do half expect Toby to do that Jack Black thing about it's a mission that will test your head, your brain, and your mind. They get sent off to a kind of boot camp thing in which, they're shouted at by army guys telling them to do 20 push-ups, and somehow it starts to become a bonding experience, and somehow things start to come together. And then things start to fall apart. There are stories about that are apparently very, very well known, if you know anything about sport, about texts and messages that are intercepted that cause ructions between the team. But then more sort of alarmingly, but also interestingly, it starts to talk about the psychological toll that it takes on the players and the way in which the stress of the sport really gets under their skin.
The doctor would ask me, how's the bowling going? Just burst into tears. I was trying so hard to get it right and trying not to let myself down, I suppose.
I had a 3-inch tear in my Achilles tendon that no one knew about. I played with that for about 5 months, and a place I wouldn't want to go back is sat at Lord's in the dressing room by myself in tears, knowing that I was going to have to make a decision to not play cricket for England. It just was awful and lonely.
And that sense of loneliness is sort of the thing that becomes the defining fact of the documentary, that it's about how when you completely give yourself over to something, it becomes the thing that you're doing, that everything else starts to fall away. We hear about people bursting into tears in the strangest circumstances. We hear about people saying, I probably should have, no, I did, spend too little time with my family. And as somebody who's, as I've said before, and I don't say this to be clever, as somebody who has never, watched sport or understood sport particularly, or indeed at all, what I thought the documentary did was, it did that thing of, it made me think, okay, I'm starting to understand that the stress that this causes. Because on the one hand, it's about the greatness of sport is it puts you all together and you're all acting as a team. And then if something goes well, if the test match or whatever goes well, then afterwards there's things that are going, and this is what it's all about. But there's also this spectre that's invoked by the thing of a guy in the batting net with the automatic, bowling machine throwing balls at him at 90 miles an hour, and just working and then going to bed and waking up and just doing more and more of it. And this sense of it becomes so, because, and this is what I think I got from the documentary, and again I would stress I'm somebody who knows nothing about cricket, that it comes down to the tiniest fraction of a physical move is the difference between winning and losing. The ball comes at you at this incredible speed, and you do something, and if it touches the bat in a certain way, you're caught and you're out for nil. And if it touches it in another way, you're on a winning streak. And it's like any sport. It's the difference between hooray and oh wow, that's terrible is very, very small. And the pressure of being in that, like it's every moment that you're on pitch, you can't blink because it'll all go horribly wrong. You're smiling like I should know this.
No. I'm just.
But I'd never thought of it before.
That he's out for nil. That's why I was smiling.
Well, what's he got? He's out for a duck.
Out for a duck, yeah.
Okay, so even I know out for a duck, but I've never watched a cricket match. I played cricket once when I was at school, and then I was sent out to field in the far lanes where nobody would ever hit anything to.
The far lanes.
And funnily enough, while standing in the whatever it was,
Far lanes.
the far lanes, whatever it was, my friend Ian described for me The Exorcist in great detail because he'd been to see it at the Classic Hendon because they let him in.
It's a mind-bending review. That's what that was, I think.
Was it? Okay,
yeah,
great.
I think so. But so actually, it sounds pretty good.
I was gripped, and I neither know nor care about cricket.